Welcome to Pop History. This episode will tell the story behind some of the popular culture events from June 1980. On June 1st, Ted Turner's cable news network, CNN, made its debut. The first broadcast was anchored by the husband and wife team of Dave Walker and Lois Hart. Unlike the network news offered by ABC, NBC, and CBS, which edited the evening news to fit into 30-minute time slots, CNN was the first 24-hour news network. Early on, CNN struggled, losing money because it was not able to find advertisers willing to gamble on the idea of an all-day news channel. Its low budget, amateur reporting, multiple issues with technical difficulties, and on-screen blunders earned it the name the Chicken Noodle Network. Its news teams were even initially denied White House press pool access. Confident in his idea, however, Turner continued pumping money into the network, increasing the number of its news bureaus around the world. Over time, CNN gained a reputation for covering live events as they happened across the globe, soon beating the other networks in breaking news coverage, eventually setting the standard for news coverage everywhere. On June 3rd, messages began to randomly flash across computer screens at the North American Aerospace Defense Command, warning that Soviet nuclear missiles had been launched and that the U.S. was under attack by the Soviet Union. These messages were relayed to U.S. Air Force command posts around the world, and the Strategic Air Command was put on high alert. Luckily, these actions were canceled when the missile attack warning systems failed to support any unusual activity. Inspections revealed that messages were not warnings of a real attack, but had come as the result of a failure of a 46-cent chip in the NORAD computer. The issue resurfaced again 3 days later on June 6th, but tests of the system could not replicate the error. The idea of a false alert scenario later became the premise for the 1983 film War Games. On June 6th, the American country western film Urban Cowboy premiered in the United States. Starring John Travolta and Deborah Winger, the film is about a giant-sized honky-tonk bar in Pasadena, Texas, located just outside of Houston. The film is notable for a few changes to pop culture. The first, helping to greatly increase the mainstream popularity of country music, thanks to the blending of pop and country as featured in the movie. Second, changing the lowly cowboy boot from something that was worn in the fields to a fashion accessory worn on a night out. And last, mechanical bull riding, which became popular in many bars and nightclubs around the country, especially in urban areas, after it appeared in the movie. On June 9th, American comedian Richard Pryor accidentally set himself on fire while freebasing cocaine. He was brought to the emergency room at Sherman Oaks Community Hospital, where he was treated for potentially fatal burns on over half of his body. Pryor spent 45 days in the hospital before being released on July 24th. It was later claimed that the event was actually a suicide attempt, with Pryor dosing himself with rum and setting himself on fire. On June 20th, Vanna White made her first game show appearance, not as the hostess on Wheel of Fortune, but instead as one of 4 contestants on the television game show The Price is Right. Sadly, the 23-year-old Vanna Rosich did not make it on stage. She would later appear in a few cameo roles on other TV shows, as well as posing for Playboy, before landing her current job 2 years later on Wheel of Fortune. On June 20th, the American musical comedy film The Blues Brothers was released. The movie is based on recurring characters that appeared on the NBC variety series Saturday Night Live. Starring John Belushi as Joliet Jake Blues and Dan Aykroyd as his brother Elwood, The Blues Brothers is set and filmed in and around Chicago, Illinois. In addition to songs performed by the Blues Brothers and their band, there are musical numbers by popular rhythm and blues artists including Ray Charles, Aretha Franklin, James Brown, John Lee Hooker, and Cab Calloway in his final role. In the film, the brothers are on a mission from God to save the Roman Catholic orphanage where they grew up from foreclosure. Later, the Vatican called the film a Catholic classic and recommended that Catholics everywhere see the film. The Blues Brothers grossed over $115 million worldwide and has since become a cult classic. It was selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry by the Library of Congress as being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. In one more event from June 20th, the Brawl in Montreal, featuring the WBC World Welterweight Boxing Championship bout between former WBC lightweight champion Roberto Duran and previously unbeaten Sugar Ray Leonard. The toe-to-toe fight was a back-and-forth contest that went the full 15 rounds. At the end, Duran was awarded the win by unanimous decision. On June 28th, John Marino broke the record for bicycling across the United States, traveling from San Francisco to New York City. The 31-year-old gym teacher completed 2,900 miles in 12 days, 3 hours and 31 minutes, 1 day faster than the previous record, which he had also set in 1978. Finally, on June 30th, British rock band Queen released The Game, an album which included songs like Play the Game, Another One Bites the Dust, Crazy Little Thing Called Love, and Don't Try Suicide. The Game, which was the 8th studio release from the band, quickly shot to number 1 and became their best-selling album with over 4 million copies sold. That wraps up our look at pop history from June 1980. Keep an eye out for our next episode coming soon, when we will look back at July of that year. For now, thank you for watching and joining us in this stroll through our memories from 1980.